Thanks. Hello, I'm Matěj. I work for Robauto. Maybe you will not learn much from my talk. Maybe I should not say those things together. I just want to give you tips where you can learn useful information about C++, what C++ can achieve, and what can it do for you. So here are tips what to watch in these long winter evenings, but days are getting longer, so you should hurry up. So let's start with an absolute banger, which is what has my compiler done for me lately, unbolting the compiler's lid. It's a presentation from Matt Godbold. You should know Matt Godbold. He's the author of the Compiler Explorer, and he shows really interesting optimizations done by compiler. So you do not need to optimize the code yourself. Compiler can do it for you. So the main take from this talk is that your code is not important. Only the intent is. So if the compiler can see what you are trying to achieve, then the compiler can completely remove your slow code and replace it with something faster. So in this example, which is not intended to be readable because you should go and watch the talk, he shows to bait you that there is a function which counts set bits in a variable. And compiler recognizes the code, it sees what it does, and then replaces the whole function with pop count assembler instruction, which does the same if the target architecture supports it. So I think this talk is a must watch. Who has seen it? Lots of hands down. From all the talks I recommend, this is really must watch. Another one, we will stick to the Compiler Explorer. This is Rich Code for Tiny Computers, a simple Commodore 64 game in C++17 by Jason Turner. And he shows that no computer is old enough for cutting-edge C++. The talk is from 2016, so C++17 was cutting-edge those days. And he shows useful zero-cost abstractions and constexpr. So on this example, you can see or will see at home that adding a single const keyword can get rid of lots of generated instructions. Next talk is not about performance, it's about design. Large-scale C++ advanced levelization techniques by John Lakos. He presents lots of rules. It's a series of talks. He presents rules how to design your C++ code base from the scratch and for a long period of time. So if you plan to work on your code base for the next few decades, then it could be useful to follow these rules. One of the very basic rule is to have no cyclic physical dependencies, and even these basic rules I see sometimes violated. And you can also buy books about this topic. To add more context to it, John Lakos is architect in Bloomberg, and he applies those rules for like more than 20 years, and he's got the results. Now something really interesting, C++ on Mars, incorporating C++ into Mars rover flight software by Mark Maimon. He's an engineer at NASA, and he shows how to use C++ for mission-critical software. You may not know it, but onboard autonomous driving software on Mars rovers is written in C++, for example, in Curiosity. And this code decides on its own which paths should be taken on the surface of Mars. So engineers at Earth tells the rover where to go, and which path should be taken. And the rover is like, no, I see some rocks there, I will go around them. One interesting point from the talk is that it's possibly easier and cheaper to verify C++ code than C code, because C++ gives you more guarantees. Of course, they do not use full set of features from C++. So that was the oldest talk I recommend. Now go for the newest talk, C++ exceptions for smaller firmware by Khalil Estel. He argues that exceptions may not be only code bloat, but they can be a tool to achieve code compression. And it should be possible and almost easy to get rid of most of the code bloat caused by exceptions, and then you will be left with a tool for deduplicating control flow, which gives you less instructions. So really interesting. If you hate exceptions, you should watch it. If you love exceptions, I don't know what to do with you. Does anyone love exceptions? No one. One. And who hates exceptions? A few. And it's okay. Personally, I tolerate exceptions. I don't mind using them. They are perfectly fine. Why not? I don't care about space. I don't need to care about space. So, one talk about some hypermodern software is Contemporary C++ in Action by Daniela Engert. And she shows that modern C++ is not just a huge pile of features, but that she argues that they can fit together. And you can use them together to achieve nice readable code. She shows that C++23 can look completely different than legacy C++, and that's a good thing. I must say there are a few negatives about the talk. One is she tries to customize boost ASIO IO context. I don't know why it makes the talk too complicated. I would skip that. And another note, I hate the camera stabilization because the video is stabilized on her face. So when she turns her head, the image moves really fast and it's nauseating. But those are the only negatives about the talk. And to the last talk I recommend, How C++23 Changes the Way We Write Code by Timur Daumler. So if you want to know what's in the new standards, he presents very useful and practical things from C++23. And he shows that they are not only for C++ experts, they are useful even for C++ beginners. For example, the new C++ Hello World program, because from C++23 we have new Hello World. Because in the legacy version, which you can see now or you will see later at home, there is regular include of IO streams and usage of the cout. But from C++23, you can import a standard module, which, as we have seen, does not work. But you can also use a standard printline function, which is much better than streams. And if you paid attention during talks today, every single presenter used standard print or printline on their slides. So that is useful now. Here is a summary if you want to take a picture and have fun, and you can ask questions. Thank you.